Hi and welcome to this video. My name is Mary, in charge of training and career advisory services here at Corporate Staffing. And today we are talking about interviews, and it is just right from the initial stages when you enter an interview room. The first thing that will linger through your mind is whether you need to extend a handshake. And that is why we are addressing, can I shake hands with an interviewer during an interview? I am joined by one of our interview coach, Evelyn, who will shedding more light on this subject. Thank you, Evelyn, for joining.
Thank you so much, Mary, for having me here.
I don't know whether we should start by shaking hands. Great, yes. So we're talking about handshakes during interviews. And the question is, what is the current etiquette around handshakes or extending handshakes during an interview?
Now, Mary, the current etiquette around shaking of hands has evolved due to the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as increased awareness of personal hygiene. Now, you'll find that many organizations, as well as health authorities, recommend minimizing of physical contact, and this is to reduce transmission of germs. Now, however, the specific etiquette may vary depending on the region, company culture, as well as even an individual's preference. But it is important to follow the cues of the interviewer and respect their preferences regarding the greetings. Yes,
of course, if an interviewer extends a handshake, you can't refuse.
You can't refuse
as a candidate.
Yeah.
Interesting. You've talked about COVID-19, and I do agree the aftermath of COVID-19 have left so many people still very cautious, even up to now, about whether to handshake or not.
Yeah.
Now, depending on the preference of the interviewers, how can candidates now be able to navigate the uncertainties of whether to extend a handshake or not during an interview?
Well, navigating the uncertainty of whether to initiate a handshake or not can be quite challenging to job seekers, but to address this, first of all, the candidate has to prioritize safety and health of both parties. And if they are uncertain, they're supposed to take caution and refrain from giving the handshake. They're also supposed to pay attention to the interviewer's body language, as well as even verbal cues. Now, if the interviewer extends their hands for handshake, as we had talked earlier on, they're supposed to reciprocate. And but they're supposed to be mindful of course, hygiene measures. If the interviewer does not extend their hand for a handshake, they're supposed to follow the cues and opt for alternative greetings as well. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, you mentioning about alternative greetings. What are these alternative ways into which, as a candidate, I can be able to extend a greeting to an interviewer and even build a positive connection during the interview? That is, if handshake is not an option.
Great. Now, in cases whereby handshakes are not preferred, or they're not, let's say, you cannot give a handshake, yes, appropriate. Now, the candidate can adopt other ways of greeting the interviewer to just create that positive connection. And the first option is the verbal greeting with a warm smile. Yeah, whereby you can say, "Hello, it's my pleasure meeting you," while maintaining eye contact, right? And another alternative could be a respectful nod, as well as a slight bow. Now, this is depending on the cultural norms.
The different cultures.
Yes, as well as the formality of the greeting. But all the time they have to remember to convey professionalism as well as respect while adapting to the specific situation. Yes, Mary.
I know the verbal greeting really works, accompanied with a warm smile.
A lot.
Yeah, it helps to build rapport with the interviewer.
Most of the time.
Interesting. I know there is quite a lot, and this is an area that people really need to be very cautious on, because it is like the attention grabber. Even before you are offered the seat in that boardroom or in that interview room.
Yes,
Thank you so much for sharing, Evelyn.
Thank you so much, Mary, for having me here.
Great. As Evelyn has mentioned, it is important for you, when you walk into that interview room, pay attention to the nonverbal cues from your interviewers, from the panel. It will give you a clue as to whether you need to extend a handshake or not, and if not, wear the warm smile accompanied by the verbal greetings, and you will be able to build that connection, positive connection with your interviewers. I believe you found this very helpful, and we encourage you to share with us in the comment section the areas that you would want us to tackle, and we'll be glad to cover them in our upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching.